Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to another episode of the FightersRep podcast. And today I'm just absolutely delighted to be joined by one of the best boxing coaches on the planet. He's a humble guy. I'm going to go ahead and say it. None other than the great Derek Collinsworth. How you doing, Coach D?
Hey, what's going on, brother? I miss you, man. We ain't did one of these in a while.
I know, man. I know. I feel like we've been real busy in our careers, and we used to do this a lot more when the world was shut down. But now we're back to reality. How have you been?
I'm good, brother. Real busy, man. Took on some more fighters, and just that manager hat is I'm wearing it more and more.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just busy, brother. Busy, but uh, I see fighters rep, man. What y'all on? Fighters rep 100? God damn, how many? Man, you busy, bro. If I had you down here doing boxing, bro.
Oh
we
man.
we have a hell of a stable, bro, keeping everybody busy. Shit.
That's the goal. I greatly believe, Coach. I think you know this. I greatly believe in activity, man. I think the activity separates the wolves from the rest of the pack. Kind of
Absolutely.
a pun in what you talk about with the whole no pack between wolves and men. I do think it separates the pack, the activity.
Zero,
So
man. We don't make deals with none of these motherfuckers. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. And so we got Fighters Rep 16 coming up December 3rd, and obviously I'm very proud of that. And it's at the Commerce Casino again, and should be a good time. I hope you could come out to one of the shows one day, maybe when we expand it out to Florida, man.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to come out where you at now, man. It's scheduling. It's all
Yeah,
scheduling,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
If we could ever get, if I'm ever out there or near there, I'll definitely come. And same thing when you get to Florida, man. It may be even well, hell, I'm in Texas, so I don't know what's easier.
Yeah, they're both kind of the
I
same,
ain't,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I love what y'all doing, man, and you're active. You're doing
I
it. You're not
appreciate
talking
that.
about it. You're doing it, bro.
I appreciate that. That's half the battle, I think, Coach, man. But you're wearing the manager hat. You told me you're one of the best. I think one of the best, most knowledgeable coaches in the game right now. You're also the coach for Quentin Randall, a guy I think is one of the best welterweights in the world. I've seen him pretty active this year. He had something like 4 fights. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. One of them got canceled. Remember after the weigh-in, but and he had that headbutt, and then we won that title, and then he defended it twice. And I tell you, after that last fight in Dallas, we got rated. I think he's number 51 in the world now, bro.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, every name above us is a name. So yeah, man, things is working out with the kid, man. He's number 13 with the NABF, number 31 with the WBC, and yeah, they got him at like number 52 in the world at welterweight, man.
That's amazing, man. I was kind of just looking at that at BoxRec. I saw him in the 50s. I was like, man, look at this guy.
Because we was normally around hell. Tiger, I think, was ranked above us, and he only had 5 or 6 fights.
Yeah.
Troy, a bunch of guys we all we're all partners with and stuff. And that one win over that kid that was 22 and 2 with 20 knockouts, catapulted us, a bunch. I think we was like number 130 something in the world, and
Yeah.
then he hopped to 50, 51, something like that. So uh and it just makes your job a little now you can focus on who's above you, which fights to make, which fights not to make,
Right,
you
right.
know. And you know me, I'll tell you who we can whip now, or who I want to wait for, or whatever the case may be, because it's in the 50 above us, bro.
Tough
It may
guys.
be it may be 10 of them that say, all right, let's get a little bit more seasoning, but for 40 of them, they could get cooked tomorrow, man, if they want to fight.
I love
But
that. I love that.
yeah, yeah, man. So Yeah, man, the kid's growing. I got a kid on the supposed to be on the second here. I just won that. I just I took over Rashard Hicks. I was just managing him, and then he needed me to work the corner and everything. So we just did his comeback, and he stopped the kid in the
He
fourth.
looks good too,
And then
coach. He looks good, man.
yeah, and I just got him we was gonna do one of them ABO titles against a kid here, undefeated kid here in Houston, Ivan Vasquez, but it fell apart in the last week of negotiation. So, but I got a kid on the LT ratio. Man, busy, bro,
Yeah,
busy, and
yeah.
then still amateur fights everywhere, man. So, yeah, real busy, brother.
I love it. I love it. So, Quentin Randall's kind of your, he's like your first breakout sort of fighter maybe, and it looks like you're kind of building this stable that are coming up behind him. Any names we should watch out for? I mean, you mentioned Hicks. Is there anyone else we should be looking out for from your camp?
Man, I got a bunch of amateur kids. They all adults and they winning. And I'm gonna tell you, man, in the next 3-4 years, man, a lot of these boys will be going pro, man, and that's about the following that path of success that I've done with other people before them.
Yeah, yeah.
So uh, yeah, man. So Roberts retired now, so I got the 3 or 4 pros, and then all the amateurs stable.
Very cool. So, a lot of people don't really understand this, I guess, the way me and you would, right? Especially if they're not like involved in the fight game. But, you mentioned you're wearing the manager's hat. That's something, I mean, I want to say 9 out of 10, 11 out of 12 of the fighters that I deal with, even their coaches, their manager. So are you kind of managing most of these guys for the most part?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you, man. That's how it always was done, right? And it kind of when people find roles to play, good or bad, they come in and make themselves important. And managers kind of did that too. After I would say in the '80s, managers started getting involved, and then the coach just became the coach, and then coaches, and then all of a sudden here come the strength and conditioning people. So the my point is the coach used to do all those things, right? And that's why you never seen a trainer with 20 fighters, 10
Yeah.
fighters.
Yeah.
It's kind of impossible to do that and give them and not slack and give them your full attention. So I'm not saying this is a bad or a good or a bad thing. I think it's each individual fighter, how his camp's put together. It matters if it's good or bad, right?
Yeah.
So your coaches used to be your manager, used to be, but now it seems like, and again, bro, I'm not that old, bro. I'm 46 years old, but I was raised by boxing people, and therefore I kind of without realizing it was being coached up since a kid, right?
Yeah.
And so you sit in these meetings and you go, wait a minute, that ain't how that shit works. What you talking about? And as a trainer, you're not supposed to be able to do that no more, right? That's kind of what they did. They isolated
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And and then what happened was, when a big name kid, let's take Oscar for a perfect example. You take an Oscar, a superstar in the game, right? And you only get 1 or 2 of those every 10 years. And so when he loses, you got to stroke his ego and blame the coach. And then we distance the coach, and then we put him with another coach. If it loses, fine, we get rid of him. Well, these is actually business decisions that it's really not you or it's nobody's business but the coach and the
Right.
trainer
Right.
and the fighter, and saying, all right, what went wrong? Let's figure this out. And I'm not saying coaches should never be replaced. Sure, they should. But more times than likely, if a coach gets a kid to the dance, that coach loves this kid, and it's both their careers, so it's important. And coaches have you seen this all the time? Coaches would add people.
Yeah.
Hey man, we fishing here. Let's add this guy. Let's add that guy. It's kind of like they took that power from the trainers, and now you got these business people saying, you gonna work with this guy, you gonna work with that guy, and you gonna work with. And I'm like, who the fuck are you, man? What do you know about my kid?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wasn't there 15 years in the trenches when he was a boy, when he was 10 years old. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm having a renaissance, I guess you would call it, but it's only because I half-ass know what I'm doing. That's all. I just get there and you can't tell me anything. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, "Hey, coach, I'm gonna have your kid do this." Well, you're not gonna have my kid do shit, man. Now, what you want to do? Let me see what you want to do, because if a person means good, it shows. If a person doesn't know what they're doing, it shows. All these things, man. All these things matter, man. And just how a deal works. What what's putting a deal. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't understand. Once you get to certain levels about camp pays and getting that front end money and how you split it up and who gets what and how TV works and all that type of stuff, bro. They don't know none of that
Yeah.
shit, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If it wasn't for the podcast that we started in 2018, I think it was,
And big shout out to the
and just
soap boxing podcast. That's Coach Collinsworth's podcast. Give them a follow on YouTube and Instagram.
appreciate that. Uh, I probably wouldn't even understand and how I'm talking to managers and agents and all these people and telling them, yeah, that's how that
Yeah,
works, or don't work or whatever. And then it dawned on me like, wait a minute. And then you talk to fighters and they fucking clueless.
yeah,
And then you talk to coaches and they clueless. Like they don't know. Shout out to all the trainers. Shout out to all the trainers that say, man, I don't know.
yeah,
That's a that's
yeah.
that's a good thing, man, because it's more likely somebody will take you in and be like, listen, man, this is how this works, this is how this doesn't work, rather than a coach just playing a peon to some. It's crazy, man. I watch managers make decisions on fighters
Bad,
that had no
bad.
business doing that,
Yeah,
man,
bad,
for his
bad,
career.
bad.
You know,
All bad. Coach, you have such a great point there. I mean, you always make these incredible. Every time we have a conversation, right? That's why I love talking to you. You always make these incredible points that just, and I hear the point, and it just goes cha-ching in my mind because I've seen it. I've seen it, and exactly where I saw this situation that you're talking about, where I feel like a manager should have taken a back seat. Was I just happened to be, I guess, at the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, whatever you want to call it, when Andy Ruiz lost to Anthony Joshua in the rematch. And, it was my opinion that a guy in Manny Robles who like really cared about Andy Ruiz, right? At least from
uh,
at least from the conversations we had and the interviews we did, I just felt like it was crazy to me how this guy got him to the dance, just like you said, and he loses to an Anthony Joshua who makes a pretty great adjustment, if you ask me, from, kind of plodding forward to being a boxer in that fight, and gets taken to a completely different trainer. I mean, for me, it's scary, right? Because now the trainer that really knows him can't fix what's broken, and now he's in a completely new environment where nobody knows shit about him. And as great as Eddie Reynoso is, or whoever it is now that's his coach, like now you're a guinea pig. Now you're starting from scratch. You're back to zero.
boxing. Let me say this, man. I don't know Manny Robles personally.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
uh, but I know plenty who do, and I know his work, and more importantly, I know the work of his dad. So, one of my good friends in the game was trained by Robles' dad, is who got him to the world title and shit. Uh, so I don't want to come off as like me and Manny Robles as partners, because we ain't never met before in our life.
yeah, yeah.
But but he did what he did, bro. And like a true trainer, like a true trainer, took the shot on the chin when Andy shit the bed and wasn't getting in shape and was fucking off, and he kept his mouth closed. He didn't shit on his kid. He took him to the dance and took the ass whooping with him, right, alongside him, and didn't say nothing. After that fight, took it on the chin, was at the post conference and going, "Hey man, we did the best we could do, whatever," and then to get left as if it was his fault, and for him to finally speak up when nobody's speaking to him and say, "Hey man, this is so shitty. This is how it went. This is what was going on, and I couldn't do shit about it. It wasn't nothing. I couldn't make him come to the gym. I couldn't make him do this and make him do that." But I was having this conversation with Jiffy and on our last show, and I said, it's such a ego thing if it's not in check. And what do these business people do? It's not you, champ. It can't be you, champ. Right. You beat the man, champ.
Right.
And I think we was talking to my man Richard Torres, the heavyweight, and I said, can you imagine Tommy Hearns? Ray Leonard might have won 3 rounds, man, in their first fight, till Tommy ran out of gas, right? And that 14th round. Go watch that fight again. Ray was getting his ass whooped just like the rematch. And then he won out of, and Ray Leonard's greatness was that he was still there punching, right? And took advantage soon as he seen Tommy waver. Can you imagine had he went back to Detroit and left Emmanuel Stewart because everybody's telling him, man, you're overtrained for that fight, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Tommy Hearns wouldn't be who he is today had he done that.
And then Emmanuel Stewart, right? My other point is Emmanuel Stewart wouldn't have the experience now to know, oh, we did this, we can now go back and correct it. Now you're handing him off to a completely different guy. You know what I mean?
Listen, man, if you want me to pretend that the average promoter knows boxing, that promotes boxing, knows boxing, I'll pretend with you if that's what you want me to do.
Yeah.
But their expertise is a different facet of the business.
Yeah.
The managers, great managers, are in a different facet of the business.
Right.
When Peter Kine was interested in my kid, right? And Peter Kine's a great manager, bro. You've never heard me and Q shit on him or nothing.
Yeah.
And in our very first talk, I said, look, man, this is what I need, what we're doing. This is and Pete said, look, coach, I already did my background on YouTube, just like you did your background on me too. I'm not fitting to tell y'all who to fight. I'm not fitting to tell you what's the best match. That's your job. I'm going to call and say, coach, we got this opportunity. Do you want it?
Right.
You say no, fine. On to the next. If you do, great. We go for it.
Right.
Why? Why would you think you can tell me what my kid could do with somebody? It's almost asinine to think that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So great. My point to that is this. Shout out to Peter Kine too. My point to this is that's a great manager. Hey man, I want to get in business with your kid. What y'all need, what I need, this is how I do it, how y'all do it. Okay, let's go. We got a deal. You be the coach, I'm gonna be the manager. That's how you do it, bro. Yeah. If you're gonna be a promoter, you need to promote. And I would tell a promoter, tell your kid the truth, man. You sign a kid, tell him the truth. Say, son, if you're my fighter, I care about you, definitely. I want you to win because if you win, I win. But you understand that my job is to sell this particular show, right? You understand that? Yeah. And in order to do that, we got to have good fights. Now, to have good fights, we got to have, me and your trainer has to have a relationship, or at least through you, right? Saying, hey, tell coach this guy what he thinks, because at some point you got to understand, man, until there's real 50-50 fights, you got to at least sell that it's a 50-50 fight. If you're trying to be a successful promoter,
Yeah.
if you're trying to be a successful fighter. So that's the game in a nutshell, is to protect your kid as best you can in decent fights until you can't no more. Until it's Ray Leonard, right? And you Tommy Hearns and it's Ray Leonard. All right, now the best is off. This is what we fought for. This is what we trained for. This is what all the amateur fights was for. This is what all your early promoter fights for. Boom, we got to show up. And as a promoter, you win because you got two of the top guys fighting each other. Everybody has a different job, bro. And it's like everybody pretends they can all encompass the shit. Right?
Yeah.
They can all,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm a promoter, but I'm also the matchmaker, the coach, this and that, and the third and the agent, and this. And bro, it doesn't work like that, man. This shit's stupid. And get around the biggies, you know, the zones, the top ranks, and shit like that. And as soon as you open your mouth, they gonna know, oh, this dude thinks he can do everything. Okay, watch this.
Uh-oh.
Right. So it's yeah, it's a real, and then at the same time you're dealing with temperamental motherfucker. You're dealing with the temperamental fighter who thinks you're not giving them enough time. You're dealing with, you know, all these different, you know, I ain't telling you nothing I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I can imagine, I don't know shit about kickboxing, but it's still martial arts, but I can imagine trying to make these fights, dealing with all the different personalities, the different coaches. Every coach is the best coach who ever coached ever. You know what I'm saying? Rather he don't know shit from sugar. He's the best thing ever, and convince the trainer. I mean, convince his fighters and shit, bro. So it's a lot of shit going on, bro. When I say I'm busy, bro, I'm always fucking busy.
I love it, man. You know, I think while we're at this, you know, it's real important to like drop some knowledge for these young fighters coming up, you know, and my what I've gathered from the experience, and it sounds like what you've gathered from the experience, but I don't want to talk on your behalf, is the manager is secondary to the coach, man. He can't, maybe even tertiary. I mean, this guy cannot be the one that's deciding where your career is going unless you think like your coach is completely, like if you and your coach are just completely incompatible, like there should be a hierarchy, and it should be your coach and then the manager. And I would even argue, Coach D, like sometimes the managers are not even necessary, right? Like in a lot of situations when I'm dealing with coaches and fighters, I'm just talking to the coaches directly. I'm saying, look, I got this fight for you. I think it's a great fight, because even as a promoter, right, I'm like borderline an advisor as well, right? I'm not going to give these guys fights. At least the FightersRep way is I'm not going to give these guys fights that I think they're going to lose or I think they're going to win for sure. I'm going to give you a nice fight that I think is at your level, and that's going to develop you whether you win or lose. I know in boxing it's a little bit more, they're a little bit more protective, I think, about the records. But I don't know, that's the way I see it. I feel like the coach should be first, and then the manager should be a second, if he's even in the picture.
Bro, let me say this, because I don't want the good managers to hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
And think I don't think they're important. No. I just think a manager is supposed to manage.
Right.
And until there's something to manage, it's not necessary. And it's not your job to be matchmaker and trainer and train the kid or tell me who you think. You telling me who you think's gonna win, who my kid can beat and who he can't. It's like right. It's almost like what the fuck are we talking about, bro? I'll tell you who we gonna do. Whereas a manager is important if he understands the business, if he understands how to get deals, if he understands how to bring money to this guy he's managing in order to bring some value. Take the little value he got and expand it. That's your job, bro. Take my kid who's got whatever success and then go sell it to somebody so that he can get paid off of it and you get your percentage.
Right.
If you know how to go to the office and negotiate a deal and where they was only going to give us $100,000 for the 8 weeks to get ready for this fight, and you get them to give us 150. That's a manager. That's what we need, bro. These things is what's important. But a kid that's 4-0, and I know what you're alluding to because I done dealt with it. Hey man, say kid, I need you for this or this. Call my manager. Manager, motherfucker, you got a manager? He's managing. Now, what does that tell me? That tells me when I get on the phone with this manager, he's bullshit anyway because I know this kid from sparring at the gym. I ain't never seen him get an AutoZone. You know, he ain't doing AutoZone commercials and shit. What the fuck are you managing?
Right.
But there are great managers who say they might get a couple of prospects that they billing. But the truth is, right now he's just getting you fights to in order to get something. But when it comes to talking to George about getting on this show or whatever, come on, man. You could call your manager if you want. All right, look, bro, don't worry about it. It's 20 other motherfuckers I need to go holler at. Let me go see if they want to do this fight. And it's not being ugly. It's just, man, you just made this shit way harder than it's supposed to be. It's like this. Say, man, come on the podcast. All right, bro, call my manager. Huh? I'm not fitting to pay you to come on my fucking podcast. There's nothing to manage. Right. You either want to come on the show or don't. Maybe you don't think it's valuable. That's fine too. But you're making shit harder than what it's supposed to be, bro. And a manager supposed to get a percentage off of what he brings in for you. That's what he's doing, bro. If a manager, listen, these kids are giving these fly-by-night fuckers 33 1/3 of nothing, not understanding that he's gonna come get his 33 1/3 off your $2,000 purse too, that you could have got on your own.
Right.
Nobody was, you know, the local man. The shit. That's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah. Nobody don't know this game, man, and so they make it a lot. And believe you me, lose. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Then they quit answering your phone and shit too. You know, you're no longer valuable in boxing. You know, it shouldn't be that, but it is what it is, man.
It really is, you know. And yeah, I mean, it's just for me, the coach should decide, yay or nay on the fight. The manager, like you're saying, just execute that contract, get us the best deal. And I think one of the biggest roles for the manager is go find sponsorship. Go find people to cover this training camp. Go find people to, whose businesses, we could put on these trunks. Right.
Make it easy on your kid, man.
Right.
Easier.
But for you to come in and say, hey, champ, you lost because your coach didn't, work on your cardio enough. No, dude, like that's where you need to. That's where we need to. That's where we need to create the hierarchy. No, dude, that's not your position.
Coaches fuck up, right, all the time. But there's a lot of coaches in the game that don't know what they're doing, and there's a lot of coaches that do know what they're doing. They can still lose a fight, right? But when you take, and I'll use for an example of this, I'll use what's the nuts who got Wilder this last fight?
Malik Scott?
Yeah, the one who faked like he was hurt when he fought him, act like he was knocked out and shit. Let me tell you something.
Brutal. That's brutal.
You watch. It's true. He threw the fight. Go look at it.
It looked like it.
He didn't even land the punch. The punch didn't hit him. But take for instance, you looked at that crucifixion that took place in that first rematch, and you said, "Oh, I know what the problem is. We need to lift weights. We're not strong enough." I don't know a single coach in my coach's crew, and I got coaches, bro, like top quality dudes that I run it with.
Yeah. Not
a single dude said, "Man, you know what Wilder needs to do to beat Fury? He needs to start bench pressing and shit, and get and that, this 210, 12-pound dude needs to be 240 in order to beat Fury." Right. No one said that. And anybody who knows what the fuck they talking about knew that was going to just make him a sitting duck. And that's what happened. But I'm sitting there going, these kids, they convince people of shit that and they shouldn't even be there, bro. The shit went the way it went And so all coaches ain't should be over shit. Some coaches don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, so they shouldn't be making decisions for nobody,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but when you got a seasoned guy and a seasoned fighter and shit like that, and a guy comes along and his whole thing is to fuck up the hierarchy, nah, bro. Something's got to happen. I know me. I'm only work a certain way, bro.
Yeah.
And it seldom has anything to do with new people. New, I don't need no new nothing. What you? Who are you? I don't know. Get the fuck out of my gym,
I
man.
like it. I
So
like it.
So it's all the yin and yang. Everybody got their own story, but I'm sure as you being a promoter, bro, you get to see a whole bunch of wild shit too, a bunch of nonsense, But yeah, man, I'm definitely look, bro. I'm not gonna tell an auto mechanic how to fix a fucking car, bro.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna come tell him, yeah, look, man, I heard this knock, so I need you to check the tire pressure.
Yeah, I don't even tell my barber. I mean, I just walk up to him. I tell him, "What do you think is gonna look good, man? Do your
You the
thing."
problem, you the problem, man.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. I love it. There's real knowledge, man, for these young guys, and the dynamic between the manager and the coach and the promoter and the fighter, and usually where a lot of these guys are coming from. I think it lends itself to a lot of potential where people can be taken advantage of. So you really got to be careful, because you could have like a manager, like you're saying, that's he comes in, he puts his best foot forward or whatever, and then as soon as you lose, he's out there blaming your coach, or he's doing something else. So I think definitely in the beginning, just go through your coach, man. Just go through your coach. Don't worry about a manager, man.
Gee, these dudes sign dudes. How many times you seen this? I know you seen. How many times these kids come and some manager, some guy, and he could be a real manager. He
Yeah.
could be a real manager. Hey man, let me sign you, man. Let me sign. I'm gonna give you 3 years. 4 fight minimum deal. And your very first fight, you on the zone fighting a fucking gold medalist.
Oh man, brutal.
And you thought, and you and here's tell me, stop me if you heard this before. Just sign my deal. I'm with such and such. Oh, I'm fighting this European gold medalist, but God made a way, and God's looking out for me and all that. I'm like, dude, no, you being the same sucker that everybody is.
It's my time.
You being the same piece of meat that has been going on since the fucking 20s. It's the same thing, bro. And the guy don't care about signing you to no paper, because I'm never gonna have to fulfill it. The minute you lose, it's over with. You're out of there.
Right.
Every contract, even my contracts have, you lose at any time, I can leave. You don't even gotta lose. I could just leave and get out. It might be some dumb shit you like to hang out in the club. Well, I don't want shit to do with that, man.
No.
It's gonna be a waste of time. So these kids don't know, bro. They think they don't know the game, bro. At all, bro. And it had cause talent has nothing to do with the business of boxing, right?
At all.
You got because you can fist fight don't mean you understand how boxing works.
Right.
It just doesn't work like that.
At all. And most people don't, unless you're doing it like anything else. Unless you're doing it, you're not going to understand it. Coach, what would you say your bandwidth is? Because, like, you're training Quentin Randall. He's a world ranked welterweight. You've got these other kids now coming through. You also have to wear that manager's hat. I mean, do you feel like there's a limit, like a healthy limit for you on how many guys you could deal with at the same time, kind of, trying to bring them through and get them to that next level?
Absolutely. I don't listen, man. And talk to anybody who knows me, and I tell them, hey, man, even my amateurs, bro. I don't train. We have a gym. Yeah, there's maybe at any given time, maybe 40, 50 people, in the gym. Nah, but my team, I got maybe 8 amateurs. I got about four pros. And one of them go, I might replace them. Hey, and it don't take but a post to say, hey, man, I got a spot open on my team. And all of a sudden the phone's ringing and getting messages and shit. And then my answer is always, well, come come see, I'll look at you and try you out, because I don't just take anybody neither, because it doesn't matter. A, I'm going to charge a certain amount of money. B, if I don't see no drive, no character there, there's no point. It's a waste of time. And I ain't going to, you know, for your money every month, you're going to want to have some kind of, you know, you want me to have a responsibility to you. And if I don't want a responsibility to you, I'd rather not take the money. But I get pros all the time, bro. Like winning pros, undefeated pros. Yeah. Hey, coach, nah, man, look, I'm at my limit, bro. Because I don't even want to get in bed with you, man, because I know what this, man, I got gray hair and shit in my beard, bro, from working. So I already know if I gotta wanna train you. I gotta see some potential, and we gotta build a rapport that you and I trust each other like you one of my kids, man. So, and maybe I don't want you for a kid, raggedy motherfucker. Get around. Right. But it's a lot. So do I have? Yeah. I'm not in the. I don't have the luxury to just take anybody and see, or be one of these trainers who done made it to the spot where they're, I call them hitters, you know, where they could come in for your camp and help you out, because that can be done too. I'm sure I could help guys just go in their camp for 7-8 weeks and help them win. I'm sure I can do that, but that ain't how I do my business, man. And plus, I don't want to get stretched too thin. And it's a pecking order in the gym. It's a pecking order, you know. My pros have a certain value. My amateurs have a certain value. You know, my time is valuable, bro. I can't have 20. To answer your question, I can't have 20 pros. Right. Nor do I want them. Nor do I want 20, bro, because that's a lot of work, and something's going to fall. Yeah. And I take the responsibility too strong to say, you know, I don't want a kid walking out, man, coach helped this one and this one. When it came to me, it was fuck me, though. You know what I'm saying? Then I lose a fight, and then, because then I'm the bad guy, right? Right. And I like being talked about like the bad guy, but I'm not a bad guy. I don't want to be known to be a bad guy at all, because I'd rather just not do it.
And you want to win too, you know? You don't want to like half-ass it with the guys.
Bottom line is I want to win, man. I was telling the kids the other day, I said, man, y'all don't understand, man, how serious this is. Yeah, for you, it's a 3-minute, 3-round fight. But for me, it's my daddy watching me. It's my uncles watching me. It's my name that's on your T-shirt. So it's much more important to me than just hoping you could or just taking you to compete. Nah, I don't want to take you to compete. I don't want to compete. Compete in the gym. This is a performance. We come and perform and show everybody how good we are, and how this guy is just necessary. He's just necessary. This opponent got to be here in order for us to have a fight. Not because he's worthy. Nah, piss on that. We come in to perform, man. And it's a lot bigger than that to me, man. And like you said, winning, bro. It's winning, man. We got to win, man.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us for the first time, be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and join. It's the only way you get to watch the Fighters Rep events, unless you buy yourself a ticket at FightersRep.com. Also, be sure to follow Coach Derek Collinsworth on Instagram and on YouTube. Be sure to follow his Soap Boxing podcast, and be sure to subscribe to that. Coach Derek, I wanted to ask you, man, there was a great fight on last night, you know, and I'm watching this fight. And
Which one? Because I didn't see the PBC show, bro. I seen the highlights because I was watching my Astros.
I see. Okay. Congrats to the Astros.
Hey, in full, what they say, the disclosure, I didn't start watching. I never watched baseball in my life, right? From New Orleans, we didn't have no baseball team and shit. I played a couple years as a kid, but basketball, boxing, and football was my thing. Right. But so I moved to Houston 24 years ago, and about 2015, man, my wife had some tickets to the Astros game, right? And she didn't want to go. She was like me. She's from the Midwest, but she didn't watch baseball and shit. So I went, and I was just amazed, bro. I was like, I had no idea, and it's silly of me. I had no idea of the skill it takes to be a baseball player. That sounds crazy to somebody who knows, but I just didn't know.
Man.
And it was like it was like the first time I went to a rodeo here in Houston. I say, man, that little bitty 150-pound man gets on that 1,000-pound bull. That motherfucker's crazy.
Yeah.
I say, that's the man right there. And my buddy I was with, he said, man, coach, you fought and shit coming. I said, yeah, but I wasn't fighting a pickup truck. You know, this thing is amazing to me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the same thing with this baseball. I was like, man, because I couldn't figure it out. I was like, they throwing that ball so fast. How do you hit it? Like, how they say hand-eye and shit. Yeah, that sounds great, but nah, man. I don't think people understand how fast.
So
Like,
hard. It's so
the
hard.
decision they gotta make to start a swing,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
even try to hit the ball, has to be done way before. You know, I don't know when they do it. When the ball, I don't know. Shit, I don't know, bro. So it amazed me, man. So I started watching baseball in about 2015, and then of course the Astros are just winners.
Killing
So
it, man. Killing it.
that helped. You know, you wanted a roof on, but I was watching baseball last night, so I didn't get to watch the PBC show.
Did you watch Bivol Surdo?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
my buddy fought Zerto, but and I know him. I had Zerto on the podcast and shit, and
I figured you wouldn't miss that for the world.
yeah,
You know?
but it was really for me. It was about Cameron and Jessica McCaskill because I seen that Cameron girl. I can't remember, and I think you and I kind of share our admiration for the European fighters, and because some of them are great, bro. Like beyond, you know. And I picked up on that Cameron girl. And I said, man, she can fight. Man, who is this? So I done watched her last 4-5 fights.
Yeah.
And she was fighting our girl, the American. And a lot of people don't like Jessica because of her ability or lack thereof. But here's what I like about Jessica McCaskill. She's like a throwback. Yeah, not in the vein of a Joe Louis, but in the vein of a you know, them Rocky Graziano or something. Them guys who's just coming and just will not stop.
Yeah.
Will not stop.
Yeah.
Like they make up for the lack of science. They just overwhelm. And though I would say I was rooting for the American, I didn't think she could win.
Yeah.
And it went about like what I thought. And I, unlike the Zone's desk, because they the worst desk in boxing. I ain't got no problem saying that.
Yeah.
I didn't never think she was gonna win the inside fight neither. This girl Cameron could go, bro. She could really go, man. And the ability was gonna be night and day, inside, outside, any way y'all want to fight.
Yeah.
And I thought Jessica, you know, kept trying, but she was just out everything. You know, and Cameron even sat down a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see, let's dig and go. Let's see if you can fight. And she got hit because of that. But man, I enjoyed the hell out of the fight. And I don't know. Could you give Jessica more than a round, man? Maybe 2, maybe. Like the desk was saying, like 4 round fight. I don't know what the fuck they was looking at, bro.
Yeah.
Now, so I was pleased with that fight. Even though it was kind of one-sided, but I didn't think Zerto got. He's so big and so strong, bro, but so he can fight. Wait, I won't be careful with it. He can fight, absolutely. But bro, no, it wasn't. I knew this fight wasn't gonna go right, and
we both. I asked you what you thought about this fight. I think a week or so ago, and you said Bivol, and I said, yeah, I think so too, man. Bivol just, God, man, he's a nasty man. That's a nasty.
Well, you know
man,
what it is about.
dude.
I think Bivol came at a time when I was pissed off at HBO. With you know my position with HBO and Triple G. You know my position with that shit. So I thought I wasn't really paying attention to him, and he was lackluster. Yeah, he was knocking people out early, but after that, everything was the distance and shit. And I kind of quit paying attention to him, right? Because like with most people, I figured the grand champ would get him too. And he was just too much, bro. He was that size. I always say. You remember G? I used to say, they gonna get all the Canelo haters. They gonna get their way because he's so fucking little. He's so little, bro.
Yeah,
that he's gonna run into one of these big boys that can fight, and it's gonna be Offset. Now, did I think it was gonna be Vol? No, I didn't. I definitely thought if he got in there with Better Biev, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But Vol, bro, he fights, don't he? He fights to you want to fight? Fights to the level of the competition, bro. So now I'm sitting there going, the way Better Biev likes to eat shots. Hey, maybe this ain't no landslide like I thought it might have been.
It's not.
A couple years ago, man. I was like, nah, Better Biev is a monster. And he is. He is. And I was like, man, what's Bivol gonna do to keep that ball off him? Well, offset it. That's what he's gonna do. He's not gonna stand there and give him a shot. That's what he's gonna do. But I still don't know who I'll pick, and we'll come back to that. But
yeah,
I knew this fight was gonna be bad because I knew Bivol knew how to fight left-handed, forwards, backwards. I knew he wasn't gonna let Zerto come forward, and that's he can't win like that. And then secondly, I knew, and I made a post about this earlier today, I knew that Bivol ability was that all that footsie shit, put your foot on the outside, all that elementary boxing shit, it doesn't work, man, because this is an elite fighter. And sure enough, if you go watch the fight back, round one, Zerto's foot was on the outside like everybody wants you to be and say that's how you win and shit. This is an elite fighter. That shit's not gonna matter, bro, because it's punch selection. He's gonna know when to shoot what, how to shoot it, keep the lead up for nothing else but a range, and the block shit sneaking in, right? That right hook, block that thing from him, and this is gonna be a nightmare. And Zerto's so big and strong that he's probably gonna get whooped on the whole night,
Yeah.
And how many rounds? I was doing something, so I wasn't doing my score like I normally do.
Yeah.
How many rounds did you give Zerto, bro?
I didn't sit there and score it, Coach, because I was just sitting there trying to figure out what this guy was doing to just negate everything. I just felt like he was just negating everything Zerto had. I mean, Zerto, first off, everything you've ever said to me about boxing was flowing through my head as I'm watching this fight. I'm looking at this man who looked a third taller and bigger than Bivol fight down to his size, completely negated his own height.
What did Bivol say at the end? And they said something about the height. He said size don't matter. That don't matter. It 100% don't matter when you know what you're doing. 100%.
And I'm thinking what what I've learned talking to you in boxing is, you're tall, but you're fighting like you're short.
Therefore you're not tall.
Right. So you're no longer tall. Right. So you lost that advantage. The way, the stance, the understanding of range. I mean, it was just, I saw that's why I was watching this fight. And I was thinking about you, I was thinking about you, and I was saying, man, I wonder what Coach D is saying about this, because this guy Bivol right now for me, right, is the fucking epitome. He's the epitome of what Coach D has taught me about boxing, as far as understanding range and how you should stand and distance, and on top of it, ridiculously athletic. Fast, I don't even, he's got so many tricks in his bag from what I was looking at that I don't know how Zerto had no chance. I mean, I just looked at it as Zerto had no chance other than just rushing in there and swinging like crazy, and then that would leave him open to get countered real bad.
And the thing about Zerto is that ain't his nature. His nature his nature is the fight. That ain't what I'm saying. His nature is, you hit me, motherfucker, I'm hitting you.
Right.
But his nature is not better BF. I'm coming. Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if we could see through Better BF's eyes, it'd be like that computer vision. You know what I'm saying? Or like that
the Predator, like the Predator. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He just sees a heat signature and psh, let's go. That's not Zerto's nature. Zerto, he wants to box with you. He wants to box with you and over time wear you down, right?
Yeah.
The problem is he's with a far superior boxer, bro. That shit wasn't gonna happen, man. So now the kid's getting hit, and I'm talking about when Zerto gets hit, he gets hit, bro. Like he eats a shot, and it's because of his hips, bro. He fights so small, dude. He's always in trouble to get hit.
Yeah.
If he's trying to be offensive, he's always open to get hit, always. And I know surely his corner don't understand that, and I know a lot of people don't understand that. Well, good for me, bad for y'all.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's almost like he whooped Zerto way more than he whooped Canelo, bro. Canelo at least had little spots where he was able to put some shots and shit together.
Right.
Well, because the grand champ understands distance, range, touching, slipping, setting up shots, body. He understands all that. He just was outmanned.
Yeah.
Zerto outmanned him, but didn't have none of that. And so what happened, man. It went about exactly like I thought, man. Dominant.
I mean, I gotta ask you, Coach. Give me a second here. I'm having a little bit of. Okay.
Are we live on something?
No, we're not. Your video, I thought, froze for a second, but you're back now. For me, what I saw in a lot of the exchange, I mean, I can't, you know more about this than I do, but again, I'm thinking about the stuff you've kind of showed me about distance, and it was like a back foot versus front foot fighter all day long. It was Zerto was very front foot heavy, and so many times I saw him like throw a jab, and he would kind of overcommit, and Bivol would know where he's at, and pop, hit him with a couple of counters before Zerto can back that front foot, kind of back up. I mean, it happened a bunch of times.
What about how Bivol hid them leads? It was genius, bro. It's what I teach. It's verbatim what I teach. Like he's standing there, and he understood. Look, he's not committing to none of this jab, none of this.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. Zerto don't know that. So and as soon as you get set, bop, 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 and he couldn't do nothing about it. And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a long night, buddy. It's gonna be a rough one, man. Yeah. And again, bro, at the elite level, see, we don't duck southpaws. Look at my kids, my kid. We fight southpaws all day because we southpaw killers. Now, traditionally, people don't want to fight southpaws, or now I think what they have adjusted since I was a kid. Now they just switch right-handers to southpaw. That's insane to me. I'll never understand that shit. Yeah. But we had no. Think about this, G. When in the history of boxing has there been so many left-handed fighters?
Yeah, I can't think of it.
I'm gonna venture to say most of them ain't left-handed fighters. Yeah. That's why, right? The coaches let them fight like that. They fought wrong, and they let them fight like that, and then just built them into boxers. But so that traditional, hey, if it's a left-hander, stay away from them. Canelo, Bivol, Errol Spence, not Errol Spence, Bud Crawford. They don't give a flying fuck if you left-handed, bro. Right. It means next to nothing. And the truth is, I'm the same way. Yeah. All it means is our game plan is to the left-handed guy. That's all. Yeah. It doesn't matter either way. So when Bivol and see, that's why a lot of good left-handed fighters, they've been getting away with. And here's something for you and the listeners. Go watch the left hand. They seldom are fundamentally sound when it comes to hips and feet. Why? Because they get away with being leaning. They get away with stepping forward because you're busy trying to get that foot on the outside of his foot, which is ABC boxing. That shit doesn't live at the elite level, bro. If you get in there with an elite southpaw or right hand and you worried about where your lead foot is sitting, you're already beat. You're already beat.
Yeah,
and the thing about it, at the elite level. Now, as kids, 8-year-old kids, yes, get your foot outside so you can throw the straight punch because he's right there. So the southpaw's been getting away with that shit for so long. And as you can see, Zero got 40-something fights and was a world champion and has no clue when he's leaning forward. Has zero clue when he's leaning forward.
he was leaning forward so much, and he was getting caught, and he was.
So he has no answers.
Yeah.
He goes back to the corner, and all they're going to tell him is, hey, champ, jab, keep your hands up.
Pressure. But every time he's pressuring, he's getting. And then when he's. Another thing I noticed is, like, he wouldn't really circle when he was trying to get away from
He's
Bivol.
so big.
He would go back, and Bivol would just be coming forward and hitting him with like 4, 5, 6 punch combos. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, this guy.
Because when you're in the middle of your hips like that, you stepping back, but you're really not getting out the way. So if my kid just half steps you, you're still right there.
Yeah,
Boom,
yeah,
I'm gonna hit you again.
yeah.
Boom, I'm gonna hit you again. So, you know, you ask yourself, well, how did these guys get to the elite level like that? Well, unless you know, to me, unless you know that rare air at the top, right? You can be a top 10 in the world, but the difference between that number 9 and 10 and 2 and 1 can be night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day. Yeah. You don't belong there, bro. You do not belong there. Now, it's your shot, so you got to take it, but and that's what Bivol showed you.
And I didn't.
It's really sad that he's a Eastern European, man, because if he was an American dude, you and I have the T-shirt.
Right.
We had a T-shirt and be, screaming from the top of our lungs how bad this dude
I might
is,
get the T-shirt anyway, man. He's just so damn awesome to watch, man. Shit, that guy's good, man. And now he just beat. Listen, coach. Well, I guess to your first question, I didn't score it, but I thought it was a wipeout, man. I mean, I was hard pressed to give. They were giving Cerdo rounds on the desk. I'm with you. You know, I didn't really see too many rounds for Cerdo in that fight. Again, I wasn't scoring, but I thought it was easy. I thought it was easy work for Bivol. He made it look easy. You know, I'm sure it's not easy, but he made it look easy.
Right. He made it look easy.
Yeah,
right,
then I was just, I got to ask you now, right? I got to ask you now. I mean, where does this guy, like I said, this guy is what you teach. At least based on my understanding of what you teach, which is rudimentary.
Well, he's absolutely a version of absolutely. And so my definition is he can fight. That's my definition, because I'm just like, no, this fucking dude understands fighting. And so where does he go? As far as he wants to go, bro. As far
and he's
as
athletic too. Listen, he's athletic too, and he's tough. He's tough and he's athletic too. I mean, it's like,
has no problem making the weight. Has no problem doing any of that shit. And to be honest with you, when a guy fights right, and without physically teaching people, G, what you understand, a 6-foot guy may as well be 7 foot if he fights right. And a 6'2", 3 guy might as well be 5-0 if he fights wrong. And so that's what makes Canelo, when he's at the weigh-in and the guys are like this, and it just makes everybody be like, oh, he's getting his ass whooped tonight. And then he dominates, and then everybody's got every excuse except saying, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Canelo is as good as they say. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying that, they rather just say, cherry picking, and they promoting this guy, and he's a cheater, and this and that. And I'm like, well, all you're doing is telling on yourself your level of
Right,
understanding
right.
to guys who understand. That's all you're doing.
And then the height difference you were talking about. I mean, even last night for me, it was Serto looked like this and Bavol looked
He
like
dwarfed.
this, and it was
He
just
dwarfed Bivol. In fact, he dwarfed Bivol chest to back. The height was it very much was Bivol Canelo. Very
yeah,
much.
yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, now he's got to fight somebody bigger than him. Let's see.
Yeah.
And as you asked me the week before the fight, it ain't gonna matter. That shit is little of no consequence, bro. When they get in that ring.
Did you coach? Because again, I'm saying this guy's like a manifestation of your teaching from my rudimentary understanding of your teaching. For me, this guy is like, man, if Coach D had a guy like this, hopefully he gets a guy like this. This is what this guy's gonna. This is how this guy's gonna fight. If Coach D is gonna
Hopefully, we
mold,
be in the same
right,
position. Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
If Coach D gets to mold a kid from scratch, this is what he's gonna look like. So, I kind of wanted to ask you, did you expect that? Did you expect? Like,
Yeah.
I knew Bivol was good, but did you expect that level of separation between him and Sordo?
Not wanting to flip flop or nothing, because I did say Canelo should get him, right? But his performance against Canelo, not because he didn't beat Canelo up, bro.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't. He outboxed him, which is kind of for elite boxer, that's worse. You know what I'm saying? For an elite boxer, he's like, this motherfucker outboxed me all night long. Shit. That's an even bigger blow, than turning somebody's lights off, because anybody could get clipped. But if a guy for 12 rounds outboxes you, fuck, what do we do? Because now it's going to be some work. It's going to be some real work to make a difference. So that made me go, okay, maybe Bivol just been fighting to the level of his composition. Because you remember I said, man, I don't even know how Bivol beat a Joe Smith Jr. the way he's strong and all that shit. He should have afforded more problem. Well, that was me not watching him as closely as I could have, because he just fell under the radar, right? And then, but I had no choice but to see his ability in there with Canelo Alvarez. So I'm like, oh shit. So then when I see Zerto, they make the Zerto, wow, his ass is grass. There's no way. I seen this kid up. I literally helped the guy get ready for him through talking up and helping him plot and plan a strategy and all that shit, right? So I know what he can do, this Zerto kid, and from what I seen, this is about to be a landslide.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I thought happened with Cameron and Jessica, bro. I thought the same thing. I didn't think, and the desk was trying to give Jessica little rounds here and there, and I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about, bro? Because she's missing by a mile. She can't cut the distance, and the reason why she can't cut the distance like she's always done, like a Joe Frazier, a gorilla, just get in there and gorilla, because this other girl's a pugilist, man. She ain't gonna let her do that. She knows that's what you're trying to do. And so with Zerto, I'm like, I don't see, other than clipping him, other than catching him with something big, I look for him to be on the defense the whole time.
Yeah. I was just, I was blown away, and a real cool connection I kind of have to Bivol in my own way is, so his strength and conditioning coach, who I think is receiving a lot of notoriety that I believe he deserves, Taylor Ramsdale, big shout out to him. He was actually the strength and conditioning coach for Eddie Jackson, who fought at FightersRep. I want to say it was 10 or 11. He was like cornering Eddie Jackson at a FightersRep event, and now I see him in Abu Dhabi cornering Bivol, and I thought, and obviously the conditioning and strength of Bivol is ridiculous, right? So a big shout out to him, and that's kind of cool to have been to cross paths with him. What happened? So what happened? So I've had you on now over an hour, Coach. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We could go at this forever, but I wanted to ask you what happens next. For Bivol. Do you think he goes for Canelo next? Do you think he fights Beterbiev next? And in either one of those, I mean, what do you think happens?
Well, Man, am I leaning? Am I leaning Bivol a little bit, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I think we both are, man. I think we both are
You
at
know,
this
you know,
point,
my heart.
man.
Hey, the truth is, look, we all biased. We all fans. Regardless of what we know, we wouldn't be fans if we wouldn't even be involved if we wasn't fans,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Of fist fights or fighting, period. So I could see myself kind of like last night. I half-ass was rooting for Zerto, bro, but I didn't think I didn't think he could win, and so I'm going. I'm gonna probably root for the Muslim brother, but I don't know, bro. I think the ability, man, it may be a little bit too much for him to overcome, man.
Yeah, especially at this
So
age, right? Especially at
he
this
might,
age.
he might. Hold on, Tim. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh no, I was saying especially at this age, because Better Biev is kind of he's headed towards 40, isn't he? Or he's got to be damn near it. I mean, he's up there.
And he been getting hit and clean and wobbled a little bit, right?
Yeah. He looked good in that
So
last
so
fight, but man, it's like he's definitely taken a lot more wear and tear, I think, at this age than Bivol has.
he he yeah. And is he gonna get caught reaching, trying to get across there? You know, I don't know. I know he understands how to fight a southpaw. I mean, he knows how to fight. He knows how to fight for his size and shit. But man, I don't know, bro. I'm leaning towards Bivol now, bro.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Bivol, bro. So
And if
what you
it's
think?
I agree with you. I think he probably outboxes him. I think he probably outboxes him and wins the decision. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
What about Canelo if they rematch? Let's say Bivol goes down to 168. It has the chance to collect 4 belts down there too, man. I mean, that could really.
Listen, I'm not gonna be such a fan that I'm gonna just say, oh no, if they rematch, you get him. Does Canelo have the ability to get, to make some changes? Yes, 100%. But he was thoroughly beat, bro. So it would be a hell of a accomplishment. So going into that fight, you gotta lean towards Bivol being the favorite. So uh shit. Man, those two fights are great fights that I'm leaning towards Bivol, bro.
I mean, listen, this man beat Canelo Alvarez, then beat Cerdo, right? It's like if people are not putting this guy in their top five, their pound for pound conversation at this
Oh,
point,
they call him fight of the year and shit.
yeah,
He
yeah,
is,
he's gotta
and
be
not because of Zerto. In the manner he beat Zerto after beating the
Canelo,
face
right,
boxer.
right,
That's why he's the guy. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm leaning towards. I want to see that fight though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, coach,
I think they probably doing something with Canelo once once Benavidez crucifies this Plank kid. That's probably gonna be a super fight.
oh my
Canelo.
goodness, once he crucifies this plant kid, oh, that's brutal, coach. That's
No,
brutal.
this shit ain't even gonna be competitive. That shit's gonna be hard.
Oh man.
And shout out to Plant, bro, because he tried against Canelo. Uh, I would have never thought he would even show up to the parking lot if the venue had Benavidez in it.
Yeah, yeah.
But he made the fight, so shout out to him. Uh, at the end of the day, maybe he is worried about legacy and wants to be, wants to be great.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, man. But I don't see no way he wins. I don't see no way he don't get knocked the fuck out, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I don't
Wow.
see no way he don't get destroyed, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I look forward to that one for sure. I think it'll be a fun fight while it lasts. I probably do lean towards Benavidez. I mean, I don't see, I would lean towards Benavidez as well. But I think Plan will make it a good fight. I think, assuming he doesn't get overwhelmed at the beginning of the fight, because I feel like Benavidez can do that to somebody, right? He's got so much volume.
Man, he fights so small, bro. He's gonna be reaching out trying to get to just try to put a glove on David. He's gonna have to put himself in harm's way.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's a big kid. He's a 170-pound kid. So, I mean, if he hits David, I'm sure he could put him out too. I mean, anybody could put him out,
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
old boy like that. I don't see that shit as competitive,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. Well, I look forward to it. It's good to see these guys, finally fight each other too. This whole Errol Spence Crawford thing kind of is sitting sideways in my chest right now, and I don't like it. I feel like all these guys should be fighting each other. So at least these guys are making it happen. Coach, I really appreciate your time today, man. We've been at this over an hour, so I'm gonna let you go on about your life before your significant other says, "Hey, don't talk to that guy anymore." But do you have any announcements? Is there any shout outs you want to make? The floor is yours before we let you go.
Nah, man, we looking at we was trying to get on that Regis Prograde card, but the people who won the purse bid, they basically is the Peters people.
That's a
And so they
great fight too, by the way.
they put in his whole stable, and there was 2 welterweights on there, undefeated guys that we said we'd fight, but they didn't they was like, nah, we
Yeah.
won't though. So and they may be at that place in their career, they may be a true 11-0, where Q's 11-0, been fighting motherfuckers for real last 4-5 fights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out of necessity. I would love it if we didn't have to do that either, but we had to. So maybe they're in a position where now we ain't gotta take that fight. So that didn't happen. Got a kid November 19th here in Houston. The December 2nd thing fell, but I'm looking for first of the year, getting everybody busy, bro. We'll do another one and figure it out, man, and make some announcements.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining us. This is me at FightersRep. Follow me on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe and join to the channel. Definitely follow Coach David Collinsworth. A guy whose career you're going to definitely want to follow as he brings up more incredible fighters through the ranks. Give him a follow. Check out his boxing podcast at Soul Boxing Podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere else. Thank you so much for your time, Coach. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother.
Have a good one, bro.
Anytime.
All right.
Go.